welcome to this, and this will be my pay-per-view review, or my iPay-per-view reviews of the 3 shows that I saw over the weekend live, except for the Dragon Gate pay-per-view, which I have not rewatched, but I'll kind of give you my thoughts on that as myself. You can, if you've seen the other video that we did all together, you kind of get my feelings on them anyway. So, but I thought I would just come through here and just kind of give you more of a real review, so to speak. So, here we go. We have the first Ring of Honor show, which was Friday night. A lot of fun, as I said. The event with the it wasn't a bad seat in the house. Had a lot of fun at the event. Match started with Michael Elgin versus El Generico, which was good in my opinion. I did enjoy it. I liked the end with the masked ninja guy, whatever, coming in and costing Generico the title, or the match. I do think that this whole, as we saw throughout the weekend, this whole Generico versus the House of Truth thing, it will lead eventually to Kevin Steen coming back. I think that's ultimately what we're going to see, so there you go with that. We had Homicide, Caleb Konley, Colt Cabana, and what is his name? Ciampa from the Embassy in a 4 corners match. I'm not big on these. I would much rather have an elimination match or something like that, which I'll get to later in this review. But really did enjoy this as well. This was for a lot of people that have seen these already. Homicide really looked like Homicide of old. He was entertaining and fun and good to see. I really enjoyed this. I thought this was a good match as well. What was a little different, had some good comedy in it. Maya from the Embassy kind of stole the show as she did a roundhouse kick to Homicide, which you didn't really see on the pay-per-view as the camera guy missed it, but live it was pretty awesome. So there you go. But this still was a good match. Then we had Sara Del Rey and Serena Deeb versus Kurihara and Matsumoto. And this was, for a women's match, I loved seeing this. They gave this time. This was a really good match, or this was a good match. This was excellent for a women's match in the United States. For any, but there's probably better stuff in Shimmer. And there's probably better stuff elsewhere on the indies, but you're probably not going to see anything that you're going to be able to see a wide range. So if you want to see some good women's stuff, and apparently they put on a good enough show that now Ring of Honor is planning on bringing in more of the Japanese women, which is probably a good idea, because you can bring in these women who are really good, probably cheap, so there you go there. The Briscoes took on Kyle O'Reilly, Adam Cole. Very good match. Really enjoyed this. This was kind of Adam Cole's and the Briscoes or the Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly's kind of coming out party this weekend. The Briscoes really did a good job of giving them, but still going over, and the fans were into this. Really good stuff. Enjoyed it. Then we had Davey versus Roderick Strong. I liked this actually better than the final battle match. The reason being is they didn't kick out of everything. It kind of built. It was more of a spot fest than what we would see later, but it still was a match that had a little bit more build to it. But was still excellent stuff, and truly just, it's probably the must-see match on this show. Then we had Kings of Wrestling taking on Shelton, Benjamin, Charlie Haas. Another great match. Nice. It was different from the from Davey Richards and Roderick Strong, in that it had a very slow built up. After Davey Richards and Roderick Strong, I think that was a good thing, because then by the end of the match, the fans were into it. Ended in a crazy suplex spot, submission thing that was just amazing, and definitely just really good stuff. It was a lot of fun to watch Delirious, and well, I'll get to that in a minute. I'll get that later. But definitely good stuff, and just excellent stuff. Then we had Eddie Edwards taking on Christopher Daniels. Story here was, Eddie Edwards is now the champion. He hasn't been able to beat Christopher Daniels. Now they're going to go to battle. Really good stuff. Another great match. More of a, it was still a different type of match than the two matches before, but it was still great. Was a lot of fun to see. I thoroughly enjoyed this show live. Even enjoyed it when I saw it the second time when I got home. So that says a lot. Definitely, this is gonna be a hard. Hopefully this pay-per-view, in my opinion, this pay-per-view set the standards for pay-per-views for this year. So there we go there. And we had the afternoon show the next day, which started with Kings of Wrestling versus Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly. Probably, I would imagine, would be opener of the year. I can't think of anything I have seen this year that opened a show that would be better. Really good stuff again, to the point where, keep in mind how over the Kings of Wrestling are. The fans were so ready for Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly to actually beat the Kings of Wrestling. So that should tell you something. This was just an awesome match and just amazing live. Then we had Colt Cabana versus Dave Taylor. Very different type of match. Probably something that people aren't probably used to seeing. A little bit more comedy, but still it was okay. I would say it was good. I would say it was okay. It was a very different type of match. It was Dave Taylor and Colt Cabana just going out there and just kind of having fun. Was enjoyable. The crowd was into Dave Taylor. It was really good to see Dave Taylor. So there was that. Then we had Homicide versus Ciampa. This was a good match. I should say pretty good. I thought this was a pretty good match. Again, this is I hadn't seen much of Ciampa, but I was kind of impressed with him. He definitely has a different look, and he looks different than most guys. And Homicide is Homicide. And again, Homicide, he brought his A game. This was a pretty good match. I really enjoyed this. Pretty good match. Then we had Christopher Daniels versus Michael Elgin. Another good match. Thoroughly enjoyed this. Really liked Michael Elgin this weekend. Wrestles a very different style than a lot of the guys on the card. Even though he's not a big guy, stature-wise, he comes off as a big guy because he wrestles big. You don't have to necessarily be a big guy to be a big man. You just have to wrestle big. When I say the opposite of it, look at can't think of his name, or TNA, because I don't watch TNA. Matt Morgan. Matt Morgan wrestles small even though he's 7 foot. So he doesn't come off as a 7 foot guy, and that kind of hurts him. Michael Elgin is probably sub 6 foot, but comes off as, a guy that's probably, 6'2" or 6'3", because he wrestles big. So there you go. Then we had another women's match at Daizee Haze and Nakagawa taking on Matsumoto and Kurihara. This was a better match, just slightly better than the match from Friday night, but still really good stuff. It's still good stuff. Loved seeing this good, hard-hitting women's wrestling. As I said, apparently the Joshi women made a good enough impression that apparently Ring of Honor is looking to bringing them back, and like I said, I think that's a good thing. Then we had Jay and Mark Briscoe versus the All-Night Express. This was the match. In my opinion, this was the match of this day, and that's saying something because there was some crazy stuff on this day. This was just crazy awesome in my opinion. Old school, they built it up. Rhett Titus, who everyone always kind of looks at as a goof, I think definitely shed that on this match. He bled all over the place, only to have Jay Briscoe up him a bit. People were coming up after the match to me, asking me, what would I put that on the Muda scale? I have no clue. That was damn close to what Muda and Generico is the only other guy I can think of off the top of my head that came that close. He was bleeding like a stuffed pig. There was a crazy spot that just literally they set up the start of the match, and then by the time they used it as a table spot, just came out of nowhere, which is excellent. That's what you want with a table spot. just no complaints with this match. I think it got the All-Night Express match over. It got Jay and Mark Briscoe over as heels. Jay cut an awesome promo. Guy is so underrated on the promos. after the match. Just crazy awesome stuff. Then we had Roderick Strong and El Generico. This was very good. I wouldn't say great. I thought it was very good. The ending kind of hurt it. It did have kind of a ick ending with the House of Truth coming out, attacking El Generico, Colt Cabana coming out, them attacking Colt Cabana. Then we got the heel turn, finally, of Daniels, which they've been teasing for a while. I think with him in TNA, I think that's a good thing with him now turning heel. And like I said, I really do think this angle is going to be what leads back to the return of Kevin Steen. So there was that. Then we had the Dream Tag match, American Wolves versus World's Greatest Tag Team. Another great match. Really went out there. This was started off kind of weird because of the size difference between Shelton and Haas and Davey and Eddie. So some of the stuff they were doing was kind of weird because just the size difference, but that was okay. They didn't do that for very long, but once they got into the match, it just really picked up and was really great. And thoroughly enjoyed it. Loved everything on this. Another great match. So there you go there. Then we got to the Dragon Gate show, which is I had not watched a replay of that. Didn't really feel like it, but did go. They did have an undercard with one of the local promotions, and I think in the main event, which we saw parts of, who was it that was on the main event? I can't remember who was on the main. It doesn't matter. Show was what it was. The venue was not the best venue in the world. You did have a bunch of tables. You had the Dragon Gate table, which was nice. They do sell, amazingly, I didn't know this, they do sell actual Dragon Gate DVDs from Japan, which was kind of cool. They had a lot of kind of Japanese stuff, which that's cool if you're into that sort of thing. They also had our video was there. Rob was actually there selling mostly his ECW stuff, and High Spots had a table which was back in the corner, and they were selling lots of stuff too. But I waited until Wrestle Reunion to buy my stuff from High Spots. So there you go there. Show started off with Jon Moxley and Eric Cannon. People know my feelings on Jon Moxley. I know he just signed with the WWE. Hopefully they tone him down a little bit. I do see what people see in him. To me, I don't know why you would push Jon Moxley as much as Gabe has pushed him, because I don't think he's that good. I think he's good, but I don't think he's that good on the mic. He reminds me, I've said this before, he reminds me of like a poor man's Eddie Kingston. And that, you could bring in Eddie Kingston, you probably have to spend more money, but if you bring in Eddie Kingston to do the same thing, I think you would do better. So, there you go. And Eric Cannon. I like Eric Cannon. Eric Cannon looks different. I enjoyed it. It was pretty good. I would say it was good, but it was pretty good. The women that were with Moxley ended up getting involved. Sky came out. It was the bad things about which turned into a bad cliche ECW angle, which I wasn't really into, even though I'm a big ECW fan. Then we got one of the highlights, in my opinion, which we got Jimmy Jacobs, Brody Lee, Stalker Ichikawa, which is one of the reasons why I went to this show. I went to this show for 2 reasons, and he was one of them. I've never seen him live, wanted to see him live. Silas Young, A.R. Fox, and John Davis. This was pretty good. A.R. Fox did his crazy stuff. Brody Lee did his crazy stuff. Stalker Ichikawa did the first, I'd say 10 minutes, 5-10 minutes of this match. Maybe was just all him just doing his comedy bits, which was good. And even after he was eliminated, which is, I forgot to talk about that. This was an elimination match. My props to Gabe for making this an elimination match. This is, I like these matches better. I like it when they're elimination. It makes the matches better, in my opinion. So that was good. So that was, this was pretty good. John Davis, was used as the power guy. Brody Lee was definitely the guy they were trying to get over, and Jimmy Jacobs, so there you go. Then we had Yoshino versus Sami Callihan. Very odd matchup to me. I don't know why you would put Sami Callihan in there with Yoshino. They did a good job, but I just wasn't necessarily into it. It was just your kind of standard indie match. Then we had Pac versus Tozawa, which was pretty good to great. I didn't like probably the first 5-10 minutes of this match. I thought it started off kind of too slow, in my opinion. Actually, the Yoshino Sami Callihan match, the Pac Tozawa match, and the Yoshino and the Yamato Aries match all kind of had the same build and were all kind of the same match. Which, my opinion, kind of to me. So, but Pac and Tozawa went out there, did, like I said, very good, great match. Pac, because of the ceiling, Pac wasn't able to do all of his stuff, which but you know, they both dropped each other on their head. It was you know, what you would expect out of these guys. Then you had Yamato versus Austin Aries. Austin Aries brought his game. Really stepped it up. This was probably the best Austin Aries match I've seen in a long, long time. Yamato was always Yamato, so this was just a great, great match, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And set up for the actual pay-per-view taping, which took on place Sunday, which I didn't go to. His retirement match, in which he didn't really retire from Dragon Gate, so there was that. Then we had Blood Warriors versus Ronin, your traditional 6-man. Of course, you only had 2 guys, 2 of the actual Dragon Gate guys, and then 4 Americans. But this was a great match. I mean, these guys all worked really hard. This probably was on pace to be the kind of match of the day until, of all people, Ricochet botched a spot. You know, he's pretty good about not botching spots, but apparently he had a bad leg, and he went for his cartwheel moonsault to the outside and botched it, and it came out bad, and that would have just blown the roof off the place. But it was still another great match. Great show, probably the best Dragon Gate show I've seen in a long, long time. That might have been because I was there live, but still, it wasn't, you know, I don't think it was as good as the Friday show. Not even close. It was a little closer to, as a show, to the show we saw Saturday morning. But it might have been a little better, but there was parts of the show that I just didn't really care for, so it was what it was. But that's kind of your indie thing from WrestleMania weekend. So there you go. Definitely, I would recommend checking out all 3 of these shows. Good stuff all the way around. And with that, I'm out. I should be back tomorrow with the actual WrestleMania review. I have not started watching it. I'll watch it tomorrow. Stick it up. So with that, I'm out. Have a good one. Later.